Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, November 17th, the week before Thanksgiving. So I know everybody's getting excited, getting their turkeys and everything. A lot of people will be off next week. So just as a reminder, because of Thanksgiving week next week, we will not be having a live stream show on Wednesday. And then the chamber offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday next week. So get your business here with the chamber up and done before Wednesday of next week. So that's it. We are still waiting for our guest to come today. We're hoping that our guest is Liane Jollon, who is the executive director for San Juan Basin Health. So let's hope that she'll be able to join us shortly. I want to also mention to everybody that next week, we haven't publicized it a lot, but the visitor center, as many people know, the chamber is housed in the visitor center, and our friends next door at the visitor center will be having Santa the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So Santa will be here at the visitor center. So round up the kids, get them to write their Santa wish lists, and you'll be able to come over to the visitor center where we will have hot chocolate. Santa's workshop will be up and running and decorated. They've been putting lights up all day here at the visitor center. So that's very exciting. So we are getting ready to be in the holiday spirit. Speaking of the holiday spirit, there is one more deadline. You still have a couple hours to do it by the end of today, and that is to enter the lighting contest. The deadline for the lighting contest, the holiday lighting contest, is today. Now, remember, a lot of homes get decorated. So for all of you people that decorate, there's some pretty significant money coming down the pike for the winners. The first place winner gets $1,000. So if you decorate your house and you think, I might have a shot, do it. Enter the contest. The second place winner will get $500, and the third place winner will get $250. Now, for those businesses that enter the contest, you will get the equivalent $1,000, $500, and $250 in advertising credits with the Pagosa Springs Sun, who are also co-sponsoring the holiday lighting contest with the Town of Pagosa Springs Tourism Board. So lots of great things. I mean, truly, you guys, there's both, whether you get cash or whether you get the advertising credits, that's a big chunk of change for you personally or for your business. So do it. So then what will also happen is people will be able to download maps to the sites. They'll also, so whether it's business or residential, there'll be maps that people can follow. And whether you're a local or whether you're visiting Pagosa Springs, you'll be able to go around and see all the beautiful lights. Now, we ask that if you are entering the lighting contest, that you light your lights on November 26th, which is the day after Thanksgiving, and they stay lit until December 30 or January 1st. The last night is New Year's Eve. So that's kind of the one requirement is please keep your lights on at that time, because people coming to town here over Thanksgiving and or over the Christmas and New Year's holiday, they are looking for things to do. So they drive around and they want to see our community, and we are so proud of it. So we want to share that with them and share our community and how beautiful it is and how creative people are and how they've decorated their homes. So just to remind you, you get until the end of today to enter the lighting contest for the community. You can get those applications online at the Chamber's website at pagosachamber.com. If you scroll down just a little bit under Community and Chamber News, there is certainly a link there, and you can click on that and get the information for the holiday lighting contest. So remember that. Also, we want to remind people that the Festival of Trees is just breathing down our necks as well. So you need to get your tickets for the holiday Festival of Trees. The public showing will be on December 2nd, which is a Thursday, and Friday, December 3rd is the actual event. So we want to make sure that everybody can go over and see all the beautiful trees that are decorated, as well as you can support many of our nonprofit agencies here in the community, which is always fun to do. Also a reminder, tomorrow, CDOT will be doing some work up at Wolf Creek, and that is to get ready. We know that snow is on the way. We know it. It's going to come. It's just today is like Indian summer day. It's absolutely gorgeous outside, but we know snow's on the way. And so in preparation for that and avalanche control, CDOT will be doing some work up on Wolf Creek Pass tomorrow between 9:30 and 11:30. The road will be closed for 2 hours. So if you have to get over the pass, please make sure that you do it before then, or you do it after. The road will not open again until after 11:30. So that's, again, another little update and warning for you and for those who are traveling. So I'm not seeing our guest is able to make it today, whether it's technical. Oh, I do have a guest with us today. Yay, she's here. It's wonderful.
I am here. Is my mic working?
It is, Liane.
Oh, good.
I can hear you here. So that's
I totally want to apologize. I can't hear you super well. I have every device that I own has stopped working at the same time, and they're all getting fixed. And so I'm just not going to explain all of it. So I am glad that you can hear me. I cannot hear you super well. So I'm shouting to make up for the fact that I can't hear you super well.
Okay, but well, maybe I'll shout as well. I'll shout as well. Well, joining us today is the Executive Director of San Juan Basin Health, Liane Jollon. And Liane, there is so much going on. You know, we started this live stream over a year ago, 18 months ago, probably, to keep up with all the things going on with COVID at the time when it just exploded in March. And we did this to help our business community understand the guidelines and the protocols that were changing on a daily basis almost, as well as business assistance, grants, and things like that, and PPP money and community foundation information. So 18 months later, here we are, almost full circle, back around again, and we are still talking about COVID. And so Archuleta County right now, as many people know, has severely spiked. And Liane, how about you talk us and walk us through some things right now? And there are some changes. There's some new guidelines. There is an information session here in Archuleta County on Friday for caregivers. So I've just thrown a lot of stuff at you. If you can maybe just kind of walk us through maybe the latest and greatest in San Juan Basin Health's world.
And I can do that. And first of all, thank you so much for having us and giving us the opportunity to communicate about what's going on. I think that this has been This has been very confusing for, I think, for individuals, for community members, for communities, for businesses. And I think that if we had predicted, 10 months ago that this is where we would be November of 2021, I don't think anybody was making that prediction. So this is also a very surprising time for Colorado. So to set a little bit of the landscape, Colorado, at our winter peak, before anyone was able to have individual protection from COVID-19 by way of a vaccine last winter, our peak hospitalizations in Colorado were right around 1,900, and that came December of 2020. And so where we are now in November of 21 is about 1,500 people hospitalized while we have vaccine available. Now, I think it's also important to note that 80% of the individuals in Colorado who are hospitalized are not vaccinated. So, unfortunately, we have enough people in Colorado who are not vaccinated and therefore vulnerable to severe disease and hospitalization that our hospitals are extraordinarily full. And that is the driver in resurrecting this conversation, because there's two things happening. We have 1,500 people as opposed to 1,800 at the peak last year. But last year we had fewer people in the hospital for other reasons, because we had other precautions in place where people were traveling less, doing less, not seeking care, delaying care, that sort of thing. So right now it's a bit of a perfect storm. Things are much more open a year later than they were, and rightfully so, because we have great precautions that individuals and families and communities can take. So things are more open, and people have begun to seek hospital care and health care for things that they put off during the acute phase of the earlier pandemic. So what this leaves us with is the 1,500 people that are currently in the hospital for COVID-19 have really tipped over the ability for the hospitals to continue to provide safe care across the state of Colorado. So with 1,500 people currently hospitalized, Colorado is down to just a few hundred regular beds and down to about 60 ICU beds left across the whole state. So what has happened is Colorado has invoked this thing called crisis standards of care. This means that hospitals legally, by order of the governor, can deliver care differently than they can in steady states. So this is good because it spreads out the staff and the care that's available. But it's also bad because if you or I or anyone that we love or care about is injured or falls ill with COVID or something else, we know that they're going to get different care under these circumstances than they would in a normal time. And I, for one, want my loved ones and family members to know if they're going to the hospital, they're getting the very best care that they can get.
Sure.
And I hope that we're all in agreement on that. So with that, we're just working hard to get the word out that, the actual case numbers are different than they were in the spike last time, but it's overwhelming our healthcare system. And we have to change our behavior because I don't want to hear any stories of anyone getting turned away in a hospital because there wasn't a bed for them. And that's literally what's happening. So I think that I'm going to start with that. I can go into more detail about what that looks like as far as case numbers here, hospitalization numbers here, fatalities. But I don't think any of those numbers matter as much as the overall message, which is I want you all to be able to, if you need hospital care, get it. And I want your friends and family to be able to get it. So we have an advisory, which is add a mask to your behaviors in indoor settings, and so that we can cut down on spread in public indoor settings. We're not ordering, the things that have been in place before, which is capacity restrictions or closing these types of businesses or that sort of thing. We're really hoping with just some small adjustments, we can turn this around and not get into a more serious crisis.
Well, I certainly see around our community businesses taking it upon themselves, whether you agree or not. Again, it is up to the business owners. Many of them are putting mask mandates to enter the stores back in place. I mean, I think I've seen 3 just as I was at one of our businesses right before this show. They just put a sign up on the door. And so, I certainly see that coming back around again.
And that is, that's the recommendation, is we don't want to be in this heavy-handed ordering. No one enjoys having to put in mandates and order things from a governmental perspective. So what we're either asking is that the whole state do it at once, and we have made that call as public health directors because we see the pressures on our hospital. So I want to be transparent. We've asked the whole state to do it, and if the whole state's not going to we're not asking for capacity restrictions. We're not asking to close any businesses. We're asking for indoor mask orders. And if the whole state's not going to do that, then we're going to continue advisories, which is what small adjustment can you make to ensure that you're part of the solution, which is not passing on virus at this time.
Sure.
So we thank the businesses that are doing it. We're happy to help. If your business has chosen to do it, we can send you a sign. You can track questions back to us about why this is important at this time. The information is all out there, and it really is to protect our healthcare.
Well, and we certainly have a COVID section on our chamber website where information, the latest information from San Juan Basin Health is posted to help our businesses with guidelines, as well as we'll take that mask flyer because our businesses go there and will download it. We still have vaccine clinics throughout the community. We also still have testing sites. So that is still always in place. And Friday here in our community, we have Dr. Amber Reese-Holt, and she will be talking about vaccine and safety and for caregivers. Can you expand on that at all, Liane?
This is an informational session, and it's for people to really just have the opportunity to ask a doctor what is the medical community, what has been researched, what has gone into the development of this vaccine, how does it work? We have two different types of vaccines that have been authorized and approved in the US. We have the mRNA, and then we have the Johnson & Johnson, which is a slightly different mechanism. So it's to just really go through from a scientific medical perspective with a medical doctor. What does this look like? What's the history of how vaccines have been developed? How do they get approved? And how does this interrupt spread of virus so that our hospitals are not facing the type of, and I'm going to use the word crisis. It really is a crisis when we're looking at running out of hospital beds in Colorado. And, because 80% of the individuals who are hospitalized with COVID-19 have not chosen to get vaccinated, it's important that we have that discussion about what are the risks of not being vaccinated versus being vaccinated. And it'll be an hour long. I think it's an hour long.
Yeah.
And I think the format is mostly Q&A because it doesn't make sense for anyone to launch with, well, this is what I want to talk about. What we really want to hear is, what questions do people have? This is, and I am the first to admit it, this has been a very confusing and complex and difficult 20 months.
Sure. Yeah. And, certainly right now, at least in Archuleta County, we are seeing the breakthrough cases and the culprit being apparently the Delta variant. Anything that you want to comment or mention right now?
The Delta variant has been the dominant strain in the U.S. I think it became the dominant strain by June, and it was almost 99% of cases since July. So it's been the dominant strain for quite some time. It is a very, very opportunistic strain of the virus that replicates very quickly. And so the Delta variant has the ability to outpace the vaccine to some degree. So it has this ability to find and move through unvaccinated populations really, really well and land people, unfortunately, with severe infection and potential hospitalization. And of course, we're still having fatalities. So the Delta variant is good at good at replicating itself. Because it's so good, and because the majority of the population is vaccinated, the vaccine is not like a force field that doesn't let the Delta get into your membrane. So if you breathe in or you're exposed to Delta droplets, you can have replication of that virus while your vaccine is mounting its defense, right? It's not, a vaccine it's not doing this. It's still, I don't know if people can see me, but it can still get in. And so for some people, it does lead to some infection, which is unfortunate, right? Because some of our hospital people are vaccinated, or are vaccinated. That is true, but the majority are not. So that is, we'll talk more about this on Friday, exactly what the mechanisms are. But, that is why we're asking people to add some additional precautions right now, because vaccination is not foolproof for this variant.
Okay. And so, I think one of the things with San Juan Basin Health is everybody, because we've been so entrenched in this pandemic, people forget about the other benefits and the other services that San Juan Basin Health provides. It's kind of gotten kicked to the curb because, again, we're just entrenched in the crisis. But you all provide so many other services to our community. I just want to give you the opportunity to touch on that, from WIC to healthcare to just all the, I just had a septic system that had to be put in, and I worked with San Juan Basin Health. So I think, people just forget about the other services that you've been providing for years here in Archuleta County. So why don't you just touch on that as well, Liane?
Great. Well, thank you for the opportunity. And we do want to say, of course, with a once in a 100-year event such as this, we have had to redirect staff and resources to the COVID pandemic. And it really highlights kind of how all of the pieces work together. What we've learned from the COVID pandemic is that individuals that have comorbidities or other healthcare needs are likely to have poorer outcomes from COVID-19. So it kind of creates this feedback loop, which is our programs start, they start in the womb and they start in early childhood. So we have programs for expectant mothers. We have programs for young families. We do home visits. We have families come in and get counseling about nutrition. We work with families to make sure that they have adequate food, those types of things. And the reality is the care that you get before you're born and in the first couple of years of life really has outsized impact on how healthy you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all the way through. So the reason that we focus on a lot of these early childhood programs is so people can lead longer, healthier lives. And then if you have things like a COVID pandemic, you are already ahead of the game. If you're healthier, you have adequate education, adequate opportunity for jobs, transportation to healthcare appointments, that type of thing. So what public health does, at times public health has done safety net healthcare. And for many years, there were very few providers of healthcare in Pagosa. Excuse me. We now, in the last couple of decades, have really seen an increase in hospital care, an increase in primary care, and an increase in pediatrics. So with more healthcare available, then that frees us up to do that policy work with working with schools, working with other entities, and working with families outside of the doctor's office to get the healthiest, best start that we can have. And then from the environmental perspective, we work on things like septic, restaurants, air quality, water quality, again, because all of those things affect individuals' health. So I don't know how much time we have, but I tried to kind of do it as succinctly as possible and draw it all together, that right. The healthier we are going into anything, the better resilience we have for whatever is going to be thrown at us next. Because the only thing we can guarantee in life is that there are going to be unexpected twists and turns, and some of them will affect our health.
Absolutely.
So that's our approach. It evolves as the needs change in communities.
Right. Well, we are out of time, but before we get off, Liane, is there something that you want to communicate that you're just burning to say, and any last words of wisdom?
We are going into the holidays. We hope that everyone has wonderful, healthy holidays. And please, let's do our parts to ensure that our family members and our friends and family around us also have the best opportunity to enjoy their holidays. This is a special time of year, and we look forward to getting to celebrate with our friends and families and with all of you. So thank you for the opportunity. we're just going to ask people to be a little careful with their holidays.
All right. Well, everybody, once again, we started this show, as we mentioned, over 18 months ago. We started it because of the pandemic. So we're back around, and we're very grateful that Liane Jollon was able to take time out of her very busy schedule to join us today for this special live stream. That's it for me. But as Liane said, we want everybody to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We really appreciate all our businesses staying open. Those that are, whether you're offering a traditional Thanksgiving meal or just staying open. We also want to remind our community that on Saturday, it kind of gets squished into Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but we have Small Business Saturday, which is November 27th. So if you're a business, you might want to think about doing something special for that day. And if you are a shopper, go out and support our local community. That's what we're here for. This dollar circulates within our communities. These are people that you go to church with, and you live next door to, or you work with. Support us on Small Business Saturday as well. That doesn't mean you can't shop online, because a lot of our businesses have an online system, but go in and walk in that door and tell them how much you appreciate them being here and having bricks and mortar in our community. We're going to be talking about another Shop Local program from TBK Bank in the next couple of weeks. And that's another great reward system for our businesses, as well as all you people out there that are shopping. They're going to reward you for shopping local. So stay tuned. Come back and see us. We'll be back. I'm looking at my calendar right now. So we'll be back December 1st on our live stream. Mark that down on your calendar. We really appreciate all of you who continue to follow us. And we hope that these productions are helpful and useful to you in your lives and being here in the community and getting information out. Thank you all so much. We're very grateful here at the Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of us, our board of directors and our staff, we hope everybody has a wonderful holiday weekend. Thank you, and we'll see you back here on December 1st. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.